What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 12 of Rebuilding Chelsea here in Football Manager 2017. And today I have for you guys a live Tom.com doubleheader against Tottenham Hotspur and Arsenal. So we're going to be taking on two London rivals. One, of course, the club I formerly managed. Going to be a tasty affair, that one, and that's actually going to be today's opening match. And then, as I already said, Arsenal away will precede this. As you can see, just 3 days between the two games. You may notice my voice is almost back to normal, which is absolutely delightful. If you persevered through the last two episodes, I commend you, because my voice wasn't very good. It is better today, it's still not great. But yeah, 2 games, hoping it's going to hold out. And as you can see here, just 5 games to recap since the last episode, which was that defeat against Manchester United. And to be honest, I'm going to blitz through these games because we got back to scoring goals, something that we have struggled with. As you can see here against Everton, a 3-0 win. All of the goals coming in the first half. It was just one of those matches where it was all done at half-time. Players took the foot off the gas. You can see Rajkovic came back into the side despite having a little bit of an injury. Wasn't really tested in truth. That was a good little win. The next game we had was against QPR. Again, comfortable. 2-0. We performed better. As you can see, Ryan Sessegnon getting man of the match. Fantastic for the 18-year-old. Playing a little bit more regularly now, and he will, in fact, be appearing in today's game because Nathan Ake is suspended, so he'll be playing against Spurs. So I'm hoping he can give another good performance for us. Anyway, the next game, the only time we slipped up in the last 5 games, a 2-2 draw against West Ham. But despite that, a lot of positives to take because we came back in this game from 2 goals down very early on. Dimitri Payet with a goal in the 6th and 19th minute. Odegaard and Zuma fighting back either side of half-time. And yeah, another good kind of salvaged point, I guess, in a lot of ways. Anyway, the next game we had against Stoke, a game that went down to the wire. As you can see, we won 3-2. It was Kelechi with a last gasp goal. And actually, to be honest, I feel like you could watch the entirety of the end of this game. Because if I remember correctly, Stoke went at one end and had a great chance. In fact, they did. So we'll watch it from here. But you'll see, Stoke had a great chance. And I thought, we've lost. We've lost. You know, they've had this chance here. They're going to score. It's Juve. He's through. And he put it wide. I'm thinking, well, the highlight's got to end now. You know, there's not going to be that much out of time. I was wrong. And I'm glad I was wrong. We went up the other end. And Kelechi, I believe he came on off the bench. He got the goal. It was a little bit fortuitous the way it fell to him, but we were applying pressure high up the pitch. Fullback salvaging the possession well here with Kyle Walker, switched it to Musonda, laid it off to Nathan Ake, and yeah, the ball managed to find its way to the back post, I think, after a little bit of a kind of scuffle in the box. And it was Kelechi with the goal, and well, as you can see here, the time was ticking away. I'm thinking 2-2, it's game, could have been better, but no. And even at this point, to be honest, I thought, well, it's the chance gone. You know, we've wasted it here. This is one of those pointless highlights. But I was wrong. Musonda laid it inside. Lallana had an effort, probably should have scored. Joel Robles with the save. But Kelechi was on hand to get the goal. And that could prove to be a massive 2 points we salvaged in this game. So it kept our little kind of run going. And well, in the last game, you can see here against Watford, we won 3-1. Again, very comfortable. 2 goals in the opening 5 minutes. And I kind of feel like when you score 2 goals that soon, you're kind of cruising. You don't have to worry so much. Anyway, if you look at the fixture dates here, you can see that since that West Ham game on the 16th, we've played a lot of games. 3 games kind of leading up to this point. And this is now going to be our 4th game in 10 days. And following on from this, we've actually got Arsenal as well the weekend. So players struggling a little bit. You can see here actually looking at in general, the condition is fairly good of our squad. Only the one kind of player missing in Nathan Ake as well. We've been very lucky, I guess, with injuries in a lot of ways. But you can see here, the players are, for the most part, very good condition, very good match sharpness. A few exceptions to the rule, but I think that's been a big contributor, along with, of course, some good luck for why we've not had too many injuries as of yet. So anyway, as I said, we go into today's Spurs game knowing that a win could put us in a fairly good position. We are currently trailing Arsenal, who do have a game in hand. Of course, that's going to be the second game of today's episode. Spurs in 6th, though, still going to be a tricky game. A win here against them would see us go 13 points clear of them, which would be a very good little achievement. Of course, the aim for this year is merely to finish top 5 and secure a kind of Europa League spot through kind of positioning in the league, which would require us to finish 5th to guarantee it, or depending on cup winners and such, 6th would also be good enough. But really, given how we've played so far, I feel like the true aspirations of this side have to be a top 4 finish this year. And for as long as we can, really, I want to see us fighting at the top of the table. If we can go into the last 10 games, within 5 points of the team who are top, then we maybe switch our attention to kind of going for the title. Anyway, looking at our team for today's game, we're going to be sticking with the 4-2-3-1. In goal, we go with Rajkovic, the Serbian keeper, of course, was injured during the last game that we had against Manchester United live. He's back today. Sessegnon comes in at left-back, the youngster, 18 years old, 2 England international caps, looking like one of the best young prospects in our side, a player who has come on leaps and bounds, really, since joining us from Fulham, of course, last year. At centre-back, we have Chris Smalling, and alongside him, Kurt Zouma, 2 exceptional defenders. They've both performed so well for us, and to their right, we also have Kyle Walker, who himself has had a good season so far, a 7.43 average rating, of course, going to be playing against his former side here in Tottenham, and of course, worth noting that with Kyle Walker, I didn't think he was very good when I was Spurs manager. When I took over, you may remember I signed Danilo. He's proven to be very important to us, though, as Kyle Walker. Anyway, in the centre mid-defend role, we go with Christiansen, a player who's, again, been having a very solid year, really. 6 yellow cards in 12 games, maybe a little bit of a concern there. But all in all, an 88% pass completion kind of percentage in the Premier League, a 7.22 average rating, a great player for just spreading the ball around, and a very good player with the ball at his feet. Anyway, the next player we have, Will Hughes, another young English player, been exceptional for us since he joined last season. You can see so far this year, 12 appearances, 1 goal, no assists, still a 7.19 average rating. Again, it's just been superb, really, so far. I was a little bit concerned, perhaps, after the United game, that we were struggling for goals. We hadn't won that convincingly, but of course in the last few games we've had a lot of games where we scored 2 or 3 goals, and I believe our record for goals in competitive games stretches back over 30 games at this point. I remember getting the achievement called, I think it's called the Irresistible Force, which is basically to score goals in 30 consecutive competitive games, which is really pleasing. Anyway, Adam Lallana going to be playing out on the left for us today. Down the middle, we go with Martin Odegaard. At the right attacking mid position, I did have a little bit of a dilemma here. Did I want to play Rashford? Did I want to play Czerny? Did I want to bring in Masonda? Did I want to bring in Theo Walcott? I'm going to play Rashford. But he's done okay for us as Marcus. He hasn't developed as much as I'd like, if I'm honest. But at 21 years old, still plenty of time for that. And 4 goals in 15 appearances, whilst it looks good, 3 of those goals came in a single win against Huddersfield. He's not been banging in the goals for us. Hopefully he can set the record straight today. Of course, up top for us, we have Lukaku, 14 goals in 14 starts, has also had 2 appearances on off the bench, but he really has been the goal-scoring machine for us this year. You can see Lukaku and Odegaard leading the way with the goal-scoring tallies. And then, with the exception of those 2 players, really, there's been a plethora of other players chipping in with important goals, which is nice. Really, I'd like 1 or 2 more players to be helping out a little bit more on the goal front. It's a little bit concerning perhaps being so reliant on Martin Odegaard and Lukaku, but at the same time, at the moment at least, it's working for us, so I can't really complain. Anyway, let's submit our team for today's game. It's going to be tricky. Apparently, he's got to go for Chelsea at home. Apparently, Lloris going to be a big miss for them. Lloris out with a fractured arm. Not an ideal miss, really, for Spurs. Their key player going to be Harry Kane, a player we're familiar with, of course. He got 25 goals in 36 games in our season in charge of them. Last year, he only got 12 in 25, so not really amazing last year. This year, he's been okay. Hopefully we can take that to them, though, in this game. Looking at the kind of Tottenham side here, you can see they've got Trapp who comes into the side. He's a pretty capable goalkeeper, to be honest. So despite the fact they don't have Lloris, they're still very strong. Mario Fernandes, a new addition since we left the club a year and a half ago at right back. The Russian player, a fairly good player. I feel like he's Brazilian and he's played in Russia for so long he took up Russian nationality. I'm not wrong. Knowledge on point there. He actually made 1 cap for Brazil, but I guess it was in a friendly game, so it didn't count. Either way, he's joined from CSKA in Moscow. In the centre of the park, they've got Bentaleb there. Worth noting that Tottenham did sell Dele Alli for £80 million. I think no, it wasn't 80. £54 million, sorry. They sold him to Man City for. Actually, a player I tried to get in for the fee, but he didn't want to talk to me because he wanted Champions League football. Not that I'm bitter. Anyway, Insigne joined from, I guess that's Napoli, it is. £38 million for him. Didn't have a great year last year, but this year he's been in pretty good form. And other than that, fairly kind of familiar Spurs side that we're going to be playing today. So we are second in the league. Obviously, we've got some tough games coming up. In this episode, we've got this game against Spurs and then a game against Arsenal. I believe we then have Man City and Liverpool back-to-back, and that'll be next episode, although those games are coming up fairly soonish, so it's going to be kind of 4 matches in quick succession. But in truth, once we get through those games, we have quite a nice little run, kind of, just into January and February, which is nice. Either way, let's defend if we can. Lamela coming in, has a long-range effort. A little bit ambitious, went over in the end fairly comfortably. Keeper just kind of watched it go by. But no, we'll see how we get on. This is a lunchtime kickoff. It's a Boxing Day kickoff. I want a Christmas cracker. I want a Christmas treat. I say Christmas cracker like that, implying that I want a good game. Really, if it's 1-0, I'll take it against Spurs, our former club. Looking at the stats, Tottenham a little bit better than us at the moment, which is somewhat concerning. But we are the team with the ball here. Can we make something happen? Ball out to Sessegnon, the young Englishman, whips it in. Odegaard, what a finish that is. Rashford linking up with him. I said that we rely on Martin Odegaard and Lukaku for the goals. It's another goal from one of those two players. Rashford, though, with a nice little assist. I don't know if he headed this down. I'd be surprised if he did. Rashford, not exactly known for his aerial capabilities, but, well, the ball's nestled in the back of the net. It looked like a mighty fine finish. We're going to get to see it in 3D. And, Martin Odegaard, 19 years old, the biggest earner at the club, joined us for £17.5 million last year, looking like an absolute bargain. Last year he smashed in goals and he got a load of assists. This year, well, he's been involved again. What a finish that is. On the half volley, into the roof of the net, listed down as an inconsistent performer according to his team report, or his kind of player report. I don't care if he's inconsistent, if he can turn up for a game like this and smash in a goal like that. Well, this is a game which, yes, Tottenham have had a lot more chances and they've had quite a lot of half chances too. But they've not done a lot with it so far. And, well, for a moment of brilliance, really, we find ourselves ahead. But I might change some things at half-time just given how this is going. Tottenham, they're playing better than us right now. I don't want to tell the players I'm far from happy. Get them fired up. Not going to tell them anything else. I don't think we need to. I'm actually going to change Kyle Walker and Sessegnon on to defend. And we're going to go to just a little bit more flexible. I'm going to be kind of, I don't want to say turtling, but we are going to go a little bit more defensive in terms of Will Hughes and Christiansen are both going to play on the kind of defend duty. Really, now I'm quite content just to sit back a little bit, thrash the ball forward with some more direct passing. And, well, we don't need to play so direct. We'll look for the overlap on, but no, really at this point, I want us to be a little bit more solid at the back. Of course, right now, Harry Kane playing up top on his own. I feel like with a flat back four as well as 2 centre mids on defend, oh my gosh, Odegaard's been given a gift. Can he finish it? Of course he can. That caught me out. That really, I don't know what's happened then. And I feel like if I'm the Spurs manager and that goal goes in, I probably scream BS. Jan Vertonghen, I mean, I've seen it happen in real football where a player gets caught in possession like that. The keeper just charges through him. Martin Odegaard, though, second goal of the game. It's a gift. It's a present. Thank you very much. I mean, Spurs have turned up big and now Lukaku's turned up with an injury. Well, okay, we got one gift. Now we've got some coal in our stocking. I don't know how many more Christmas references I'm going to get in today. Anyway, Keleci's going to come in up top for us. Look at the performance as a whole. It's been okay. Christiansen on a yellow card kind of concerns me. So we're going to bring in Joshua Anoma, the former Spurs man. He is going to play centre mid on defend for us against his former club. And we're actually going to go to counter now, I think. I feel like we can sit a little bit deeper with our flat back 4 all on defend, 2 centre mids on defend, and Martin Odegaard for the hat-trick. Oh my gosh, what has he done? Martin, it's not the first free kick you've scored this year. It's not going to be the last. Is this gone in off? The keeper doesn't move. I mean, I don't blame him for not moving. It's beautiful. Last year in FM, you didn't see free kick goals. Now you just see some absolute beauties, and that's another one for the collection. Martin Odegaard, hat-trick from centre attacking mid. He wants more. He wants blood. Number 10, he has no mercy. We're on the attack again. Rashford, options in the middle, pulls it back. Defended, but we still have the ball here. Anoma, the former man, to Lallana. Sessegnon, the youngster. Can he find a man inside? There's a few. Lallana's there. To Will Hughes. Now Rashford's open. Rashford, can you bury that? Can you bang it in? It's a tight angle. Trapp has had a nightmare. It's 4-0. Marcus Rashford with his 5th goal of the season. What the hell has happened to this Spurs side? We've left them a year and a half ago. They've not recovered. This was our first game against our former club. If you didn't watch the Spurs save and you want to see how that first season went on, please go check it out. It was actually quite a good season. This is not the Spurs side I left behind. Lloris in goal, a definite miss. But we've punished them. We've not even had that many chances, but Spurs haven't had a replay shown, I don't think, is a chance since the first half. They've had 4 half chances. None of them have been worthy of being shown. They've given us gifts. We've taken them. And, well, you can't really fault our performance, can you? At home, we've come into what could have been a very tricky opening game to this episode. And we've done exactly what we wanted to. And hopefully now we can build the momentum kind of off this game and go into the game against Arsenal in 3 days' time and just perform as well as we have done here. What a result that is. That is a confidence-building result, potentially a season-defining result as well, really. A very nice victory. 4-0, Martin Odegaard, player of the season already. Should we just give it to him now? 14 goals, that's going to be up to 12... 14 assists, that's going to be up to 12 goals now for him. It's just his free kick taking's on 15. His technique of 19 has such a big bearing as well on free kicks. I don't think people kind of take that into account. I mean, Lukaku's out for 5 to 6 weeks. I forgot about that, if I'm honest. It's not great, but we've got options. But we are now looking for a new goal scorer because Odegaard is our top man. Oh, sorry, Lukaku is our top man kind of when it comes to goals. Anyway, there's a few players here who I do want to rest. A few of the players have already got some resting in. I might have to... In fact, that's what I'll do. I'll recall the guys who are on rests to training. And then I'll select them all again. And I'm going to give them just 2 days rest. I kind of want to play the same team again, if I'm honest. Kelechi, you're probably going to start up top for us. That's going to open up a slot on the bench. Nathan Ake is going to be back as well, which is nice. So Sessegnon will be demoted, unfortunately. We'll keep him on the bench, though. But no, we've got options. Do I want to go with this? I think we will. We'll check how player condition recovers, because we've now got Arsenal on the Saturday. We'll just do this all in one take. I was worried that my voice might screw up, but I feel like I can successfully waffle through 2 days. So we'll see how we get on. As you can see, January transfer window is coming up. You'll notice Lampard joins Chelsea. I have got a few players coming in. Prim is a Brazilian regen. You may remember we signed when we were in the Championship. Frank Lampard's joining me as a coach. And Andre Kubas, some of you will probably recognise his name. He hasn't got a work permit. We've actually signed him from, I think it's Vélez. It's certainly where he used to play. I don't know if he's still there now. In fact, no, he plays for Boca now. In fact, he never played for Vélez. I've just completely lied. I'm thinking of Lucas Romero. But no, Andre Kubas, he's not going to get a work permit, but we've got him coming in as a free transfer on, I think, 20 grand a week as a backup player. He's a player who I'll either send to Vitesse and hopefully he hits the ground running, hopefully he improves, hopefully, he gets a work permit. Or if he doesn't, we'll probably make some money off him. Speaking of players out on loan, I haven't really talked much about our younger players here, but there's a man I have to talk about because he's probably going to be a first-team player before too long. It's this guy, Ramon Valenzuela. Now, I signed him, I think, last year when we were in the Championship. In fact, I know I did. I signed him last year when we were in the Championship. You can see £3.5 million played. He went to Vitesse, and to begin with, he was... in their reserves. They weren't playing him, and he got 5 goals, I think, in a cup game, or 4 goals in one cup game. They've brought him into the first team. He's got 5 league goals in 2 starts and 4 appearances off the bench. He's kind of just forced his way into the Vitesse first team, and you look at him, what a regen he is. He's 18. 18, driven personality, playing regular first team football, 20 determination. I mean, he's got 16 technique and 14 free kick taking. He could be our future free kick taker. Looking at his weaknesses, consistency is a problem, but he has the potential to improve. Very strong in the air. Obviously, the fact he hasn't got a work permit is a problem at the moment. And you can see, actually, I applied for a work permit recently. I have to wait another 87 days before I can apply for one, which is annoying. I'm surprised he's not been called up for Argentina's kind of youth team, if I'm honest, because he's been tearing apart the Dutch league. So he's one player. Worth noting as well, Mayada, the Uruguayan, on loan at Estudiantes in the Argentine Premier League. He's not scored yet in 5 games, but he was really unfortunate, actually, because as you can see here, he broke his shoulder and was out for 2 months. So that was a real shame. Other players out on loan, you can see Wim Russen has been playing lots of regular football, the Belgian, but he's not really performed that well in League One. Nuno Santos is doing okay on loan at Coruna. That's Deportivo La Coruña, if you're wondering. He's not playing a ton for them, but he's only 19 and he still has room to improve. I might even recall him and see if we can get him a better loan. Elton Kusi is out on loan at Bristol City. This guy's contract runs out in kind of a year and a half. He was actually a little bit unhappy before he went out on loan, but he is now happy again. So I'm going to slip him a contract and see if we can get him to accept it. Because he is an exciting Dutch player. He's kind of the right-back equivalent of Nathan Ake, if I'm honest. I don't really want to give you a yearly wage rise, but I'll do that. Right, he's happy now. But just take a look at him. He looks like a good little player, the 18-year-old Dutch player. Loads of potential. Playing regular first-team football as well, which I think is going to be beneficial. You can see last year he played 17 games for Charlton in the Championship and did well. This year, he's not got as high an average rating, but he has got 3 man of the matches, so I guess he's still playing fairly well at left-back. Reece Oxford also out on loan in the Championship, not playing too well at Burnley. Again, might bring him back and see if we can get him a better loan move. There's a few players here. I've not talked through all of them. In terms of kind of English players, Trevor Chalobah is still at the kind of side. Of course, his older brother, left us. He's been out with a torn hamstring, unfortunately, the centre-back. Really like the look of this guy. His physicals and kind of his ability in the air is superb, with the exception of his heading, but good jumping reach and good kind of rest of his physicals really for a defender. Just needs to improve kind of just across the board. His technicals, particularly as a defender, need to see some improvement. You've got players like Kyle Walker-Peters, who we picked up on loan this year. He's on loan at Burnley. You can see, actually, sorry, I said we picked him up on loan. We picked him up for £1.4 million. We loaned him to Burnley, where the loan fee was more than what we paid for him. So that was immediately profit on him. And he looks fairly good, the 21-year-old. He's not had the greatest kind of season. I worry at 21, is he going to have that much improvement? I know when I first came to Chelsea, a few people kind of said, Jack, why aren't you playing Solanke, Izzy Brown and those kind of players? I don't know if it's just in in my save or in FM17. They're just not good enough for the Championship, or at least the Championship side that we were last year. So in the case of Izzy Brown, I've sent him out on loan. He got 3 goals in 37 games last year. He's got 4 in 14 this year. He's just not getting the goals. Tammy Abraham as well. Looks like he could be a fairly good player, but on loan at Bristol City, only 5 goals in 12 games. You know, we've got players like these guys, and they're just not setting the world alight. You can see here we've got a few other players out on loan. There's loads that I could go through. To be honest, I think the best thing with our youth team is really going to be for me to tell you about kind of the exciting players when they emerge. Someone like Solanke's performed fairly well, to be fair. He's on loan at Nottingham Forest. He's got 7 goals in 16 games. Other players, Reece Nelson, who of course we signed last year from Arsenal. He's currently playing regular Championship football at the Borough. He's doing okay, I guess, at 19. Still plenty of time to improve. Jonathan Lecco's had a bit of a disappointing loan spell at Swansea. Still playing regular first-team football for them. But no real sign of development in a lot of these players. Carter Vickers, of course, on loan at Bournemouth in the Premier League. I still think this guy could be very, very good. 20 years old, American, playing regularly for the international side. 7 kind of games so far this year. I'm hoping Bournemouth give him a few more chances to shine, because they did promise him he'd be a first-team player. But yeah, another player worth keeping an eye out on. In terms of the best average ratings, Valenzuela's leading the way. Reece Oxford, not doing that bad actually, with a 7.88, although I feel like that's just the reserves, oddly enough. Javier Molina, perhaps worth a mention as well. Not got the greatest potential, not improving that much at all. In fact, he's declining at Vitesse. But you can see here he's playing regular first-team football for them, regularly playing in the Euro Cup, which of course is the UEFA Cup. I don't know, he might be good, he might not. There's such kind of a scatterfire approach you could guess I've kind of had with this side. There's so many kind of exciting young prospects here. I guess a few in the under-18s to keep an eye out on. One is Luke Shuttleworth. We signed him from Liverpool, if I remember correctly. Yeah, we did, for £6.5 million. He looks very, very good. I'm close to calling him up to the first team. He'll probably make some appearances in cup games and stuff, because I think he's that good. Another player who's been playing him well is Jamie Wood, who we signed, I believe, from Arsenal last year. £1.2 million for him as a regen. He looks very good. Again, 17, loads of time to improve. There's no real need for me to rush a lot of these players into the first team, but you can see here, there's potential across the board. I don't want to spend too long waffling on about these guys, but there's a lot of exciting players right now, and if any kind of make that big step up, I will give you like a shout when that happens. I think Valenzuela, the Argentine forward, is probably the closest to being kind of first team ready. He's improved a lot. Anyway, Chelsea lose key man. We've lost Lukaku. Is Guardiola? Is Guardiola their manager? Today sorry Pep. I figured Pep out, everyone. I hate that meme so much. Is it a meme? I don't know. I figured Pep out. You can't hack it in the Premier League. Apparently Lukaku was our worst performer last game, so maybe it's a blessing in disguise that he got a ligament injury. Looking at the Arsenal side, yes, they've got Higuain and Shinji Kagawa. It's actually quite a different Arsenal side in some ways. They've got a few kind of exciting players. Higuain, perhaps the big one. I think they signed him at the start of this year. Yeah, you can see here. He's got 16 goals in 19 games. It's not bad. They paid £82 million for him, and he is 31. I feel like Juventus have probably done one over on Arsenal there. They've signed Higuain a few years too late. But yeah, he's still pretty terrifying, and we're going to have to play very well to shut him down. And, well, given what I've just said there, I have no doubt in my mind he's probably going to be the player who scores a hat-trick in this upcoming game. But we'll see how we get on. It's going to be first against second. A massive game, of course, this coming straight off the back of what was a great win against Tottenham. I'm hoping our players are going to recover to full condition, so for the most part I can stick with the same 11. It's not actually going to be a game on TV, which is a little bit surprising. Tottenham and Liverpool taking preference over our game. I'm kind of hoping for a draw in that Tottenham-Liverpool game. That would give us the best chance to pull away as kind of part of the top four. In terms of contracts running out, we've got a few here. Whether or not I extend these, I'm not really sure. Oliveira has been on loan at Houston, so I probably won't be extending his. Danilo Pantic is a player who loads of people were bigging up in the comments when I first took over for Chelsea. I can't even get him a work permit now, so I don't think he's going to be staying at the club, and he doesn't look that great, if I'm honest. Anyway, staff here, I need to go through and sort all these, but you guys don't want to see me go through every single one of these. I could just tell the director of football to sort it for me, couldn't I? Thing is, he might screw it up. Mate, I'll do it manually, but I'm not going to go through that list with you now of all those staff members and renew their contracts. But it's something I do need to do. So anyway, let's get into this game against Arsenal. They're still a point clear of us with a game in hand, so a win here with CSGO 2 points clear of them. But, of course, they have played a game less. And their game less, I'm not sure who it's against, actually, because as you can see here, Tottenham have played a game more than everyone else, just the way the fixtures have kind of worked out. You can see here, Arsenal actually lost away against Tottenham 3-1. So maybe that's a good omen for us going into this game. In terms of our team, I'm going to play the same team with the exception of course, Kelechi Iheanacho going in favour of Lukaku, who's out injured. I like Kelechi. I think he's got room to improve. Of course, very, very unfortunate to break his ankle at the start of this year. A massive player for us last year in the Championship. I'm hoping he can do well for us. As you can see here, it's a tight game, but I think Chelsea will lose this one. Arsenal are on a high, and home advantage should be enough to get them through. Lukaku's going to be a big miss. I mean, I can't argue with the fact Lukaku's going to be a big miss. He's going to be a massive miss. Looking at this Arsenal side, they've got Higuain up front, who we already looked at. Got Shinji Kagawa playing at centre attacking mid, the Japanese international. They've got Kingsley Coman, who they've signed. How much did they pay for him? £44.5 million. He looks pretty good, actually, how well he's played this year. Kevin Strootman plays alongside Ramsey in midfield, an interesting pair in there. And, well, their back four looks fairly unchanged. I guess the note being that Callum Chambers has come in and started playing centre-back for them, but he looks pretty good, to be fair. So, anyway, we need a good performance. I don't want to say we need a miracle, but it's going to be tricky, this one. Away from home against Arsenal, I want us to go kind of all out in this game, play on the front foot, play adventurous attacking football. A similar philosophy, I guess, to how we did against Spurs in the opening of that game. Of course, that game, I feel like that was an exception rather than the rule. It was a game where a few goals were gifted to us. We took some fantastic opportunities that fell our way. This game against Arsenal, we're going to have to dig deeper. We're going to have to perform better. We're away from home. But hopefully, if we stick to our game plan and kind of turn up as individuals, we can play well. Higuain's through. I mean, if he'd scored, I feel like a fool because I criticised the £82 million. I feel like, actually, if Higuain scores here, that still doesn't justify spending £82 million on a 30-year-old or 31-year-old. I still think that's mental. But no, 25 minutes gone, 0-0. Not a lot happening. I mean, to be honest, I'd probably take a 0-0, but I can't see it happening. I feel like defensively, we're not that great normally. We did keep a clean sheet against Spurs, but I mean, that Spurs game, I don't think we can read anything into it, really. And, well, with just the one highlight in the first half, it looks like it's going to come to an end at all square. I say that. I've got to eat my words because the ball is in play. Lallana, Kelechi, can you finish it? Check saves. That was an opportunity. Does Lukaku score it? I shouldn't think like that, but does Lukaku score it? Let me know down in the comments. He probably does. And Arsenal going to deal with it. That was such a good chance. The first clear-cut chance of the game falls our way. Kelechi threw on the goal. Could have completely changed my team talk, but as it is, it's 0-0, and it's not good enough. Far from pleased. Boys are fired up. Look at the performance as a whole. It's just been poor in the final third. Will Hughes has had a particularly bad game. But we've got options for how we can change this game. We've got players like Theo Walcott, who I'm sure would love to come on against his former club and kind of tear them a new one out on the right-hand side. And he may well have a chance to go at Monreal, who plays left-back for Arsenal in the second half, depending on how this goes. But anyway, 40 minutes left. Looking at it, it's not been a very open game. We've had 4 shots, 4 on target. Arsenal have had just the 1 shot on target. And with an hour gone, you'd say that the game's got to be changed by one team. I'm going to make a double change. I'm going to bring in Jordan... no, I'm not. I was about to say I'll bring in Jordan Ibe out on the right. I might still do that. Do I want to play Walcott as a striker? Do I fancy him as a striker? Not really. But I'm going to play in there. And I'm also going to take off Rashford. And we're going to bring in Charlie Musonda. Now, Charlie Musonda, you can see here, he's a good little player. Good little left attacking midfielder. I wouldn't say he's our best inside forward on the bench. But he always performs well for us. You can see here, actually, his best role is considered to be an inside forward, apparently. I mean, my assistant's wrong, and I encourage you to make up your own mind when it comes to players' best roles. He's not a great inside forward, but he's the inside forward who I trust to come on and make an impact in this game is the number 11. And, well, he's going to be playing out on the right-hand side, cutting in on his left foot. 25 minutes gone, there is a chance for a player here to make themselves a hero. And maybe it can be Theo Walcott against his former club. Rajkovic clearing the ball for us here. The first highlight of the second half. I never thought I'd see the day. Charlie Musonda to Lallana. Nice switch. Odegaard got a hat-trick last time out. Been a little bit quieter today, I think it's fair to say. Although, Theo, finish it. How's it gone in? I don't know. Another defensive mare. I'm going to take it. Walcott scores against his former club. I thought he'd fluffed it. But the post came to the rescue. The post actually kept the ball in play here. And, well, Theo Walcott, he's going to beat Czech in a foot race. Callum Chambers, he's done a John Stones. Czech goes into a crunching tackle. The ball hits the post. Czech defies the laws of physics to, like, moonwalk backwards. Theo Walcott gestures in front of him with his arms aloft and runs to celebrate with the away fans. It's 1-0 here. And I feel like now we do what we did before. We go on the back foot. We don't look for the overlap, actually, this game. We go on the counter and we say to Arsenal, break us down if you can. You've got 10 minutes to do it. It's a little bit anti-football. Normally, I'd stay on the front foot, but this worked against Tottenham. It actually allowed us to get in again. And with the pace that we have in the final third, I feel like hitting them on the counter could be very, very punishing. Musonda coming forward with it, the sub. Walcott on ahead. Lallana. Options inside. Gets dispossessed. Arsenal now come with the ball forward. And, well, we need to defend it. Giroud on as well. So they're playing with 2 strikers. Giroud, I mean, it's Giroud and it's a bit poo, really. He's hit it miles over. We have 1 sub left in this game. Christensen struggling at defensive mid. Joshua Noma, the former Spurs man, come on. Do a job for us for 5 minutes in the centre of midfield, please. 1-0 up. 3 minutes remaining of extra time. Just time waste if we need to. That's going to be game over, I think. Odegaard whips it in. It's headed away. It's another win. It's a massive win for us. It's a 1-0 win against our title rivals. It's a gift that's come our way, but we will take it. Theo Walcott on off the bench. Said I didn't fancy him as a striker. Maybe I have to reconsider that because he's got a massive goal for us there. And at the halfway mark in the season, ignoring the fact that Arsenal are going to have a game in hand, we're top of the league and we're having a laugh. And, well, I said I don't want to get too carried away. I want to aim for top 4 this year. But if we get to, 28 games in, we're still, within touching distance of the teams at the top, then we pay attention and kind of really go for it. Anyway, in terms of when we'll be back for the next episode, as I said, Man City and Liverpool, not too far away. Going to be another double header next episode for you. Just Leicester and Huddersfield in between. Hopefully I do see you guys for those 2 games. Going to be another 2 massive games before. What I already kind of mentioned is a very nice kind of run here of, well, what is it, 8 what I consider extremely winnable games. So hopefully I'll see you guys for that next episode. Really going to set the tone, I think, for going into that relatively easy run. Of course, Arsenal and Tottenham games towards the end of the season that may well have a massive bearing still. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it all from me. Massive performances today. 2 clean sheets, 2 wins, 6 points. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one where we can replicate the success. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.